Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge television, radio, and podcast talk show. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning 2 p.m. Eastern time zones. I get right home with you in the afternoon. You can find us on television 2 different ways. On Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And you can also find us on Channel 182 on Charter Communications. That's up in North Alabama. You can find us that way. You can also find the podcast on thenewscasters.com. Another way is on the biggest country station in South Carolina, and that's WZLA 92.9 FM. We absolutely love being with you guys. Absolutely. Continue sending email, and I know Julia loves it. Donna at Donna'sEdge.com. She does. Donna at Donna'sEdge.com. So Julia, a lot of this. First of all, tell folks how they can find you and what you do.
Honestly, the best way to find me is to go to the podcast, which is Life After Breath. And then there's all my contact information is there as far as my email and things like that. If you want to reach out to me directly, it is juliachristinehealer@gmail.com. And I am, like I said, Life After Breath podcast is on any podcast streaming that you listen to.
There you go. And it's well worth your time. You need to do that. So we have a lot of emails, and it's like different varieties of email, but I'm seeing a lot of it on how to breathe, how to properly breathe. And some folks would like to see you do some demonstrations on that.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Folks are dealing with stress right now. We all are. As soon as I took my first breath in this world, I think I probably had stress. So anyway, stress is part of life, I think. How do you breathe? What's the proper way?
Okay. Well, first I want to separate a couple of things out. And that is that we'll talk about stress in a little bit. But when you are feeling any sort of stress or any sort of that frenetic energy where you're like, I have so much to do and I have to do this and I have to do this, I have to do this. Here's the thing. When we talk about all this stuff, Donna, everything I say is going to be controversial. And everything I say, you're going to be like, that makes no sense. But I want you to just take a minute and go out on a limb with me and trust me. When you are in that space of I have too much to do and not enough time to do anything in it, what I want you to do is stop. I want you to stop everything you're doing. Not just one thing, not just go down to one thing, stop everything. And I want you to park your butt somewhere. And if that means that you have to leave work and go to a bathroom stall, do it. If you need to go sit in your car for 2 seconds, do it. Even if it's just taking an elevator ride down to the lobby and back, do it. Stop everything you're doing and try to sit. But if you need to stand, that works. And just stop. And what you do is you clear your mind of everything. And the best way to do that is to take at least 3 deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. And instantly, after the first one, you're gonna feel better. What that does, scientifically, what it does is it regulates your brain, essentially. It gets your, there's literally, it's at the tip of my tongue and I can't think of what it is, but there's scientific names for this. And it literally slows everything down. It slows your blood flow down. It slows your heart rate down. It gets you back to center. On a more energetic and spiritual level, what it does is it connects you to yourself. It connects you to that inner being, and which is God within you, is whatever you want to call it. If you call it the Holy Spirit, if you call it God, if you call it source, if you call it the universe, whatever it is that you call it, it connects you to that part of you that is connected to the ultimate higher power. And all of a sudden, when you're in that space, you find peace, you find calm, and you find, on a scientific, very physical level, all of the neurosystems line up and everything calms down. And now all of a sudden, having a clear mind and an empty space and a place of calm and kind of relax, you can ask yourself, what's the next or even the first logical step for me to take? And you'll know, because now all of a sudden, all of the BS has been cleared away. All of the to-do list has been put aside. And I'm just focusing on, what do I need to do first? And you'll know what that one thing is. And as you go to do that one thing, the next thing will come to you, and the next thing, and the next thing. And if you want to get the max amount of things done in the most minimum amount of time, the key is to slow down. Now, as a woman, and well, maybe not just as a woman, but for me and a Virgo and all those things, I'm a multitasker. I like to be doing multiple things at one time. And so this idea of slowing down and doing one thing at a time was a big challenge for me initially. And so I want to encourage you to do it anyway. And as you do, you'll find, because you're who you are, and if you are a multitasker like me, you will know when you can start doing something else at the same time. But the moment you start to feel like you're in an overwhelmed state, put that second thing down, finish what you're doing, and pick it back up again. And you will find not just calm and peace, but clarity about everything that's on your to-do list, about what's next, about how to move forward, about what's important and what's not. What happens is we are literally a to-do list society, right? We come up with to-do lists, and so many people have 4 or 5 to-do lists, and that's amazing. And I'm a list person, so I understand. And as you write your list, put it down and decide to do one thing. When we have a list of 20 things, what our brain does is we look at 20 things and we think about how we have to do all 20 things. And all of a sudden, that's too much for us to do. We have to do one thing at a time, or at least approach the list one thing at a time. And as that's going, then you can start adding on and multitasking. I already said that. Does that make sense? I'm talking a lot.
It does.
Okay.
And following through exactly as you say.
Yeah. Okay, good. So first type of breathing that, in my opinion, is one of the most important. And anytime I start a breathing session with somebody, or any sort of session, I usually start with what I call cleansing breaths. Other people call it that too. And it is literally just a deep breath in through your nose, deep. So like 2 seconds, 3 seconds, however long you can do it, in through your nose and then out through your mouth. And sometimes those can feel aggressive, like you can really push the air out. Because if you think about it, you're inhaling this beautiful, fresh, clean air, and that's entering your entire system. When you breathe, it goes into your bloodstream and everything. So you can imagine it filtering through your whole body. And as you exhale, you're breathing out all the crap. You're breathing on all the things that you don't, and you can visualize it. Imagine clean, cool air, and then imagine gray crap leaving your mouth as you exhale, and you want to push that out. Do a couple of those. I wouldn't recommend breathing like that all of the time, because it does clean you out. You know what I mean? And it can be exhausting. We don't want to exhaust ourselves. So do a good 3 to 5 of those. And then come back to just breathing normally in and out through your nostrils. And then I like to close my eyes to start, because it actually makes me not see anything else around me. Remember, we're trying to not think about all the things. And so if you're sitting in a house that might need dusting, you don't want to keep your eyes on the dust while you're trying to clear your mind, right? Mm-hmm. I do want to say that there is all kinds of breath work. There are all kinds of types of breathing to provide different results for your body. And I am not a breath work specialist. My type of breathing is literally about calming and centering. And obviously this first one, cleansing, and kind of getting you ready for that calming and centering. And literally what that is just inhaling and exhaling through your nose. There is a type of breath, if you have a little bit more time, if you have 3 minutes to do this, and you can set your alarm for 60 seconds to start. And what you do is called box breathing. And what you do is you inhale for 4. So do this with me. We're going to inhale for 4. We're going to hold for 4. We're going to exhale for 4. And we're going to hold for 4. So see how it makes a box, right? So we're going to inhale 2, 3, 4, and hold it. 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4, and hold it. 2, 3, 4, and inhale and hold it and exhale and hold it. And we've just done that twice. But I want, Donna, if you did that with us, did you feel a difference? Do you feel a difference?
A little clarity.
Right.
I think we get into the emotion of doing everything, getting all, especially as women. I'm not knocking men. I'm just saying women, we're built that way. And we think we got to do everything. If you'll just take that technique, because it takes the, have you ever gotten just tired of looking at your list? I mean, you look at your list and go, wow, I'm exhausted just by looking at the list.
Exactly. And anytime you feel that space of overwhelm, put it down, stop. And it seems so counterproductive to a busy person to stop, to slow down. But I'm promising you, you are going to be more effective. You're going to get more done if you slow down. This box breathing is a really, really good thing to do to get you centered. It does a lot for you neurologically. It does a lot for you for your lung capacity, because depending on how slow you're counting, you're holding your breath, you're exhaling, things like that. So literally, inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your mouth, maybe a little aggressively, is a cleansing breath. Highly recommend. Then go back to a neutral breath, which is the second one, which I usually call like a calming or a relaxing breath, which is just in and out through your nostrils. And honestly, Donna, that's enough. If you want to have a prayer meditation type of session where you're going to give yourself 3 minutes to just sit and breathe, then go ahead and do the box breathing if you feel like it, because it is effective. And I know when I first started breathing every day and taking that time for me to get centered, I would use the box breathing for probably a minute or two and then go back to that just relaxing, calming breath. And that's when I would start asking myself some questions about what is it I actually want to accomplish today? What is most important to me and for me today? And when you are connected to that deeper part of you, you have more of an opportunity to answer yourself. And I'm not going to lie to you. I started asking questions like, what do I even want? Because I didn't know what I wanted. I was so used to running around and making sure everybody else was taken care of. When people would ask me what kind of birthday cake I wanted, I didn't know. I couldn't even answer basic questions like what I wanted to eat, because I was so wrapped up in the world around me. And so if that's you, then I would encourage you to just start asking yourself, what do I want? And just sit in the quiet and watch how you'll start to answer yourself. Not in your mind racing thinking, but maybe an image will come up, or maybe like an instinct of, I really want some ice cream right now. Oh, but diet, blah, blah, blah. No, if that's what you really want, go for it. What do you, it has to become a practice, because when I started doing this, I had 45 years of running around for everybody else. I was so out of practice that I would highly recommend doing this. You go into your closet every morning and you open the closet, or you open your drawers of where you pull, wherever you store your clothes. And you literally ask yourself, what do I want to wear today? And sit there, stand there and wait until you understand what you want to wear. Not what's easiest, not what's clean, not what you're used to wearing. What do you want to wear today? And all of a sudden, as silly as that sounds, you're creating a practice for you to acknowledge the things that you want, so that when you sit down in a stressful situation, you're listening to yourself. You're able to more hear kind of what it is that you actually want. What is the next logical step for you? What is the best way to move forward in order to accomplish everything that you need to accomplish? And it'll happen.
I like the box method because I'm kind of a rhythm person.
Yes.
That's like in the kitchen, Phil will come into the kitchen and he'll say, what can I help you with? And I'll say, leave. I've got a rhythm going. And I mean, because that's how I do. I do rhythm. But the box methods, I've never done the box method before until just now. It fit with me.
Yeah.
Because I could make a rhythm out of it. I can go back to the song and make it work.
The other thing that actually is really important to think about for the box breath specifically is, and I'll do this sometimes on the podcast, is I start when we do breathing in the podcast, I start by saying breathing in and breathing out. And what you find is even in the quiet, your brain is always going, and you know that. And it's really important to stop that thought process, to stop all the noise that goes on in your head. And so by you counting, breathe in, 2, 3, 4. What are you thinking about? You're thinking about those numbers. You're concentrating on your breath. And now that is your only focus. The noise is gone because the only thing you have going on up here is 2, 3, 4, hold, 2. You know what I mean? That's what you're thinking about. And so if you're not doing the box breathing, but you can't seem to quiet the noise, say to yourself, I'm breathing in. Right now I'm breathing in. Right now I'm breathing out. And what that's doing is, again, it's putting your mind on what you're doing, but it's also allowing yourself to stay in this present moment. Right now, I'm breathing in. Right now, I'm breathing out. And we're not thinking about the present or about the future. Sorry. We're not thinking about the past. We're thinking about right now. And this goes into several things: anxiety, depression, stress. All of those things are either fear of or anticipation of or regret from the past or the future. And that's all they are. And so if you are experiencing high anxiety or worry or stress, it means you're not in this present moment. It means you're thinking about something that hasn't even happened yet. Something that hasn't happened yet is out of your control. So worrying about something that you have zero control over is a waste of your time. And we've just gone over how precious your time is because you've got a lot to do. So stop thinking about what's going forward. Stop thinking about what's next. Start thinking about what's now. Keep yourself and your mind on this present moment, and all of that will go away. This might be a good transition to start talking about stress. Because this is the other very controversial thing that a lot of people don't like to hear, but it is something that I know to be true. Stress is a choice. If you are feeling stressed, you are choosing to worry and live in anxiety about something that hasn't happened yet. And you can do that. And there's pressure and there's weight from the world around you, but you putting your focus on it is a choice. You are choosing to own that stress. And you can change that. You can choose not to put your focus on it. And I know that that is very much simplifying things and that I don't understand each individual situation, and you're right. But I also know that if you take a deep breath and shift your perspective and shift your focus, that stress will go away. That pressure will go away. That anticipation, whether it's positive or negative, of what's going to happen will go away because it is out of your control. The one question that we talk about a lot, whether we're talking about relationships or stress or anxiety or depression, is what about this? Is this within my control? And when the answer is no, you get to put it down. It's not yours because it's not within your control. If there are parts of that situation that are within my control, cool. Now you know what to do. Now you know where to start. Now you know what's yours. But if it is outside of your control, what happens tomorrow, good, bad, beautiful, ugly, is outside of your control.
But you know something, Julia, I don't know how many times I would have something in my mind, something was going to happen, and I would worry and I would stress and what have you, and it didn't even happen. So
that's what I mean.
A total waste of my time.
Not just your time, but look at your emotion. Look how miserable you felt. Stress doesn't feel good. Worry does not feel good. Anxiety does not feel good. I want you to feel good. And if you feel good, you're going to get more done. If you feel good, you're going to likely those bad things aren't going to happen because you feel good and because they weren't going to happen anyway. But we live in a society where everything it's not a daydream. It's a nightmare. and we literally nightmare about all of the things that could happen. What if we daydreamed about all the things that could happen? And we started thinking about, well, what if it could go right? Not what if all these negative things, what if that didn't happen? Because that is just as, what if I started farting rainbows? That is literally just as possible as what if I don't? Because I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like, that was obviously a ridiculous example, but
actually, it's not a ridiculous. It's like there are people who watch the show who believe in flat Earth. If that's what you want to believe, go for it. But they reached and this is, I asked this one question. I said, okay, if there's a flat Earth, I'm not going to argue the point with you. If there is one, aren't you ever afraid of going to the edge of that and falling? What would happen if you fell off?
I'm going to stop you for just a second, because here's the thing. Why would you be afraid? Why would you put your energy into possibly one day being afraid? Here's my thing. Why does it matter?
That's the point.
Why does it matter? Like, it's great that you believe that. It's great that I don't. There's science that backs this up. You have your arguments that back this up. Fantastic. There's photos that have legitimately just returned to Earth that prove otherwise. And that's cool. Fine. You can, there are people who believe this or who believe that or who believe that. Cool. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the Earth is flat. How does that affect your day? How does it affect your day that the Earth is round?
Go to the end where I fall off of it anyway.
You're not going to fall off of it, because that's not possible. And even if it was flat, it wouldn't be possible.
There's a thing called gravity. You'll be okay. You may hit a
And here we are worrying about shit like that. I'm sorry. I actually do my best to monitor my vocabulary when I'm on here. But why in the heck is that at the forefront of your mind? Mm-hmm. How does that affect your life? Does it make you happy to think about it? Go ahead. Think about all the things that make you happy. But if it makes you unhappy that other people feel differently than you are, then stop talking about those things with those people, because that doesn't make you happy. I want you to be happy. And if something in your life is making you unhappy, change it. Because guess what? It's your life. You're in control of your life, which means you're in control of what makes you happy and what doesn't.
Absolutely. We've got to go into a commercial.
Yeah.
Man, time flies. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. Finding the right home isn't just about bedrooms and square footage. It's about comfort, security, and the feeling you get the moment you walk through the door. That's why so many families across Greenwood and the Lakelands area trust Jenny Ferguson with Keller Williams. And I'll tell you from personal experience, Jenny was my realtor, and she truly cares about her clients. Jenny takes the time to listen, to understand what matters most, and to guide you every step of the way, whether you're buying your first home, upgrading, or ready to sell. Because this isn't just a transaction, it's your life. With local knowledge, personal care, and a commitment to getting it right, Jenny Ferguson makes the process simple and even enjoyable. So if you're thinking about buying or selling, now's the time to make your move. Call Jenny Ferguson with Keller Williams in Greenwood today and take the next step toward a place you'll truly love coming home to. Shine your style at Kiss My Glass right here in the Anderson Mall. There's a place where style meets sparkle. At Kiss My Glass, every piece is handcrafted, custom designed, and made to shine just like you. Owner Beth Gibson brings creativity to life with stunning custom tumblers, gifts, and one-of-a-kind pieces you won't find anywhere else. Look for the perfect gift or something uniquely you, from bold and glamorous to simple and elegant. There's something for every style, so stop by, get inspired, and leave with something unforgettable. Kiss My Glass inside the Anderson Mall, Anderson, South Carolina, where your sparkle begins. Be sure to check out Kiss My Glass on Facebook for updates and specials and gift ideas. Good afternoon. We are back. Boy, that caught me off guard. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge. It's always so good to have Julia Christine with you. You're giving me another perspective because, again, I'm a rhythm person. And, man, the box, I mean, that's going to make it a lot easier to me because it's like a rhythm.
It slows yourself down. It slows down your thinking, and it takes you out of the noise. It's just the easiest way of saying the chaos of what we create to live in. And I want to just bring something up. I was thinking about this on the break. You know, we talk about stress, and you already know that I truly believe and know that stress is a choice. And so then I want to ask you, because like, Julia, you don't understand. I have all this pressure by work. I'm all this pressure by family. I'm taking care of this person and this person and this person. I'm only one person. You don't understand what that's like. That is not my choice. And that is stressful. Cool. I understand. And I want you to ask yourself, what other things are you allowing into your life that are actually causing you more stress? Worrying about things like flat earth versus round earth, politics, right versus left, this versus that, my friend's belief versus my belief, the direction of the world and the economy and the things over. Is any of that in your control? No. So like literally by scrolling on Facebook and allowing or social media and allowing yourself to get stressed out about somebody else's opinion, when really, how is that person's opinion affecting you? It's not. And so like, you don't have, like, that is literally something that we're inviting into our existence that is going to stress us out. And instead of, like you say, I'm not going to argue with you, that is literally a way of saying, like, okay, I'm not going to take this stress on because that's just going to stress me out to argue with you. Be careful though, when you decide, especially if you're having a vocal conversation with somebody or even messaging, like, I'm not going to argue, and then you give them your point, you're arguing. Like, you are like, I'm not going to argue with you, but this is actually da 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 da. Then you're arguing and you're participating in that conversation. So it's more like, I disagree with you, and that's okay. You're allowed your opinion. I'm allowed mine. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
There you go. Just keep your mouth shut.
Instead of giving you, well, maybe this. No, don't engage. And because there are people, and actually you too, me too. I believe what I believe. And I love you, Donna, but as much as you tell me what you believe, I'm probably not going to believe it. We have two very different belief systems about several things. And at the same time, I love you. Doesn't make me change how I feel about you. It makes me realize that your beliefs aren't mine and my beliefs aren't yours. It doesn't make you wrong. It doesn't make me wrong. It makes our beliefs different. And I've talked about this before, as far as it's like wearing clothes that don't fit. If you are trying to believe something that you just doesn't work for you, you're wearing clothes that don't fit. You have an amazing wardrobe, but your wardrobe would look ridiculous on me because we are very different people. And my wardrobe, you would hate wearing my wardrobe. Now, does that make my wardrobe wrong and yours right? No, it just means it doesn't fit. And so we don't have to worry about it. We put it down and we wear our own clothes. The same thing can be true for your beliefs, for the things that you know to be true, for how you live your life. Live your life. Again, do your clothes make you happy? Wear them. Do how you believe, is how you're living your life making you happy? Keep going. If not, take those clothes off and put something else on.
But you know something, one time I would love for you to come down and hang out with this country bumpkin just for a little bit and look at the beautiful scenery. You would go nuts.
Oh my gosh. You know what? I love beautiful scenery. It has me living in New York has nothing to do with me not loving beautiful scenery. I will also say that I live a mile away from Prospect Park. We have a lake. We have beautiful trees. Like there's plenty of beautiful things even in New York City. But it's different.
Tell you, so we were in New York and we went to Central Park and I loved it. It was amazing. And actually I got some gardening ideas from going to Central Park that
I'm telling you.
I'm just telling you, it works.
And it's different. And that doesn't take away from the fact that it doesn't mean that because I live in a city, I don't find beauty anywhere. And I'm going to be honest with you. I know a lot of people who live in beautiful areas who take the beauty around them for granted because not everybody, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. And so and all of this has to do with judgment, right? Mm-hmm. Like instead of judging somebody for living in a certain way or living in a certain area or believing a certain belief, let's just let them live. Their life is not going to affect me. My life is not going to affect them. So I'm going to let you live and I'm going to live and we're going to do our best. And right there, we're relieving ourselves from some stress because now we're not in argumentative space with anybody around us because we're just letting them live. We're just letting them believe what they believe. They can discover whether or not they're right or wrong on their own. They don't need me to do that.
Well, there are different things that happen in our lives that brought us to the point where we are. And I mean, what I lived growing up earlier in my life, yours is probably totally different.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, so the reason I'm here is because this is just what brought me here.
Right. I mean, and the same can be, this is the thing about perspective that we really forget to understand. My brother is 3.5 years younger than me. We were brought up the same way. We had the same mom. We had the same dad leave. And at the same time, our perspectives of how we were raised and what happened to us are completely different. Mm-hmm. My perspective of how he was treated by our mother is completely different from how he sees how he was treated by our mother and vice versa. Mm-hmm. Even though we were siblings in the same household, we have completely different perspectives of how we were raised because we're different people. So it doesn't just mean me and you from different parts of the world being raised different. It doesn't mean me and another friend of mine who's a different color who comes up with them from a completely different culture. Of course, we're going to have different perspectives. It's not even that. It's literally the person you're living with, the person you grew up with, the person that every single one of us is unique, which means we see the world completely different. Mm-hmm. And so when you say, well, I know he meant this. He said this, but I know he meant this. No, you don't. You're not in his head. You have to literally understand that your perspective of what's going on outside of your perspective, you have no idea, is not somebody else's perspective. It's a weird thing to grasp, but it's true. Mm-hmm. Unless it's coming from your own head, you don't know what's happening. Or what they're thinking, or what they, don't read into what somebody says because you don't know. That's you doing that. I'm getting off topic. That's not talking about stress. I mean, those things can stress you out, but.
No, this is perfect. So I got a different perspective because Phil had an issue and it caused him to lose hearing on one side. And so I didn't understand because he has to wear a device in his ear. And so I didn't understand how this stuff worked. So another friend of mine here in South Carolina was telling me about his wife doesn't hear him or he can't hear her when she's in another room. And he's told her, you need to come into the room. And because I didn't understand this perspective, right. On hearing loss, that can be really something else. So he helped me to see Phil's perspective.
Right.
And then I'm not hard of hearing, but I like to look at people when I'm talking to them. I don't know why I do that. I just have to do that. I have to look at people. And so, but anyway, talking to this friend, so I came home and I said, Phil, I get it now. Right. He goes, what do you get? And I said, when I'm talking to you, I'm in another room and you can't hear me. Or I'm on the other side, I'm on the bad ear side and you can't. And I'm thinking, he's just ignoring me.
Right.
And he's not ignoring me.
Right. And you know what? We do it to ourselves. Yesterday, I got together with my family for Mother's Day, and one of my brother's partner's grandmother was there, and she was sitting and she was participating in the conversation, and we were talking to each other and everything. And when she left, she called to thank us for a good time. And she said, I hope that nobody, like, I really wasn't trying to be rude. And we were like, what are you talking about? And in her head, she felt like, because she couldn't hear what was, she had a hearing aid and she couldn't really hear what was going on. So she didn't feel like she was participating. So she felt like she was being rude, and she just didn't want us to think she was rude and all this stuff. That's what every single one of us does, is play these nightmare reels and we create these stories that aren't true. We thought she was enjoying the conversation and she did participate, or she would ask us to repeat ourselves, and everything was fine. Like we had no impression of her being rude or that she wasn't participating or anything like that. But in her mind, her insecurities went crazy and created these stories that we thought ill of her, kind of thing. And we all do it, and we do it to ourselves. We do it for other people. We project, oh my gosh, they're being so rude, when in actuality, they just can't hear you. Remember that if it's not you, you have no idea what's going on. They didn't not call you because they're mad at you. They didn't call you because they're busy or something else is going on or their phone died. Do you know what I mean? Like, stop reading into things. And the minute you do that, now you're not stressed about those things. That's where stress is a choice. If you're going to choose to stress over why somebody didn't call you when you have no idea what's going on, you're doing that to yourself.
I've watched too many Seinfeld shows where this happened. Sometimes if I don't return your call, I live in the South. I don't have the best cell phone coverage. And maybe that's why I didn't call you back. I didn't get your message until I got into the proper, area where I would actually have cell phone service.
Right. Or I fell asleep, or I just needed a phone-free night. All of that is okay. Also, I don't have to tell you why I didn't call you back. I didn't call you back. It has nothing to do with you. Like, it's just, I'm allowed to live my life. You're allowed to live your life. And it doesn't have to have such a big impact on the people around us. It just doesn't. Like we take things to a level and stress ourselves out about it and the people around us. And we don't have to do that.
When Phil and I were first married, it's like I would explain every single thing. I would say, I'm going to the grocery store, and then I would say, because we're out of milk, we're out of butter, we're out of whatever, and he would just look at me like, why are you telling me all that? And I would go, well, don't you want to know? And
right.
No, just go to the grocery store. Whatever you need to do, go do it.
And the same thing is true as somebody asks me, can you come over? Like I got invited to a concert last week, and my impetus was to come up with a reason why I couldn't go, because I didn't want to go. Mm-hmm. And that is what we all do. Okay, I can't go because I'm doing da 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 da. Why? And then all of a sudden we find ourselves lying, or we find ourselves like scrambling or feeling obligated to go because we don't really have anything else to do, but we don't want to go. How about we just say, I'm not available, because you're not available. You're available for yourself that night. You're not available to do something you don't want to do. And you don't need to give a reason why. They don't need the exposition. They don't need all that. They just need, honestly, the answer is no. That's a complete sentence, and that's enough. Right. So do you see how some of this stuff, like the daily life stuff, is just more and more stress that we're choosing? And if we just live our lives knowing that our perspective is all we're in control of, all that stuff goes away. Mm-hmm. Was there specific things that people were feeling more stressed about that we need to address directly, or was it just stress in general?
The cost of things, but let's go into a commercial break.
Okay.
And we'll come back in and we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
We're good. We'll get to it, guys. Thank you for sending the email. We appreciate that. We'll be right back in a minute.
Because of your overwhelming support, our $14.88 MyPillow has been one of the biggest sales in MyPillow history. I couldn't think of a better way to say thank you than to extend our wholesale pricing through Christmas. Get a classic standard MyPillow for only $14.88. Upgrade to a queen size, just $18.88. King size, only $1 more. Get my body pillows for only $29.88. And ready? Multi-use My Pillow's only $9.88. It's perfect time to stock up for Christmas gifts for everyone on your list. Go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our wholesale pricing. Including my classic standard My Pillow is only $14.88. But that's not all. I'm so confident you're going to love our classic My Pillows that I'm going to extend my 60-day money-back guarantee until March 1st, 2025. Plus, orders over $75 ship absolutely free.
You know something? What goes up must come down. It's the really neat thing about being 67 years old next month is I grew up in the 70s, and I remember when I graduated from high school, and I finally got a car. And so it's like, wow, I finally have a car. Then guess what happened? They were restricting us. You could only buy so many gallons of fuel at a time. And you had to sit in these really long lines. And that would irritate me because I'm like, now I'm irritated because now I'm burning up my gas sitting in line, waiting on to get more gasoline. So, and this is what my imagination said as a young 16-year-old. I'm like, oh my God, I'll never drive a car. I'll never be able to drive the car that I just drove. I'll have to just wind up. I was coming up with all these things. I'm going to have to sell my car. I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to have to. Well, none of that happened. None of it. And guess what? We have no gas lines right now. I know the price of gas is going up and everybody's stressing from that. I don't like it either. But how many times in our lifetime, even to a 20-year-old, can you remember gasoline prices going up and down, up and down, up and down? There's not a thing you can do about it.
No. And so in one level, stop worrying about it because there's nothing you can do about it. It's happening. Instead of yelling about it and getting all up in arms about it, there's nothing you can do about it. And for me, if it feels good to get angry about it, go to town. But when I get into that space of being frustrated and angry at the same time, that does not feel good. And I don't want to do that. And so then we ask ourselves, is this within my control? No. So, okay, it is what it is. I gotta deal with it. But I think that following the prices and stuff isn't the stressful part. The stressful part is, how am I going to be able to do this? I have to put gas in my car because I have to travel to work 30 miles a day. I have to do this. I have to do this to pay the rent, to feed my kids, to all these things. The price of groceries are going up. And as I talk, I start to get more and more heightened because my focus is on this is bad and this is bad and this is bad. And it escalates and it builds. And now all of a sudden, all of those chemicals in our brains and in our bodies are fizzing, and we feel terrible and we feel overwhelmed and stressed. And then we yell at our kids or we yell at our husband or we screw up at work, and then that adds to the stress, and then blah, blah, blah. That's why I recommend stop. The moment you feel those things start to fizz, stop. And even just me talking about it, those are stresses that I truly don't hold on to. And me just saying this and this and this, I'm feeling it. And it's not even a reality for me. Mm-hmm. And as far as feeding my kids, I don't have kids, those types of things. And so the minute you start to feel that, really pay attention to your body. That's what's so cool about breathing, is because if you are breathing and you're focusing on what it feels like to breathe, you're going to start paying attention and being aware to the expansion of your lungs, to the expansion of your diaphragm, to how it feels going in and out of your nostrils, up and down your throat, all of those things. And you're going to start to be aware of your body, so that when you are being heightened, when you start to react to something, your body does something, your heart starts racing, your stomach drops, your throat closes. You can feel all those things when you're starting to get angry, when you're starting to feel depressed, when you're starting to feel stress, all of those things. And it is within your power to stop, to take some deep breaths and let those feelings go. And then you can ask yourself, what was I reacting to? Why was my body responding that way? Oh, I'm thinking about all the things I don't have, which means my focus is on lack. And if I focus on lack, we talked about this last time, where you put your focus is where you put your energy, which means that's the world you're going to live in for a while. I don't want to put my energy into that. That doesn't feel good. So I'm going to shift my focus. Now, that doesn't mean that I got my head in the sand. It doesn't mean that I don't understand the reality of needing to pay attention to my money. It means that the more I focus on not having the money, the grosser I feel. I know that that's true, that I'm going to need to penny pinch when I go to the grocery store or whatever it is. But I know that. So I don't have to think about it anymore. I can shift my focus to creating new ideas of how I'm going to make a limited budget fun for me and for my kids. How am I going to make this fun so that my kids don't feel it? So that my kids don't realize that we're having hamburgers again, because it's the cheapest option. That they're getting peanut butter and jelly sandwiches instead of smoked turkey or whatever it is. And remembering that they're being fed. And that's the important part. They might not be gourmet meals, but they're being fed. And that's the important part. And all of a sudden, when you shift your perspective, it's still not the greatest situation. It doesn't change the prices from rising, but it does make you feel better getting through it. Remembering that there is an end to this. It's going to stop. It always does. And so you can count on that, and you can look forward to it and be excited about it. And get excited about the things that you're going to do. When prices regulate and we can afford it, I'm going to make the most gourmet meal, and everybody's going to be so excited, and it's going to taste better because it's been a while. Mm-hmm. And they're going to be like, oh, I love this so much. This is so great. Cool. It's going to mean more. It's all the things. And now all of a sudden we are in a completely different perspective, a completely different feeling, a completely different atmosphere within ourselves than feeling crappy about the fact that things are the way they are. You are in control of all of that.
Both my granddads mentioned the depression, and I remember both of them mentioning this same thing once, and it was about candy canes. And my granddad said, you know something, I think candy canes used to taste better when I couldn't have one than they do now. He said, I can buy. He said, when he was a kid growing up, people think, when I'm an adult and I have my own household, I'm going to have a house full of candy canes. He said, I don't have a house full of candy canes. They don't taste that good to me anymore. He said, sometimes it's what you don't have that you seem to have the taste for.
I mean, that's true. That's absolutely true. And if that helps you get through it, then focus on that. If that feels good to know that it's going to taste so much better when I have it again, because I haven't had it for so long, then that's amazing. Mm-hmm. You know, when I used to be a diet coach and a health, advisor, let's say, I would tell people that about fast food. Fast food, when you have it every day, is boring. It doesn't taste as good as you want it to. And you're like, oh, I'm going to have this today. And then you have it and you're like, nah. You know what I mean? And you get to a point where you're like, I don't even know what I want because none of it tastes good anymore. And then you go on something that you call a diet, and all of a sudden you feel restricted, and that's all you want. You don't remember that it wasn't even tasting any good. Mm-hmm. And so when you change your perspective and you start doing things a different way, on occasion, when you have that burger or whatever, that night out, you enjoy it more. Not just because it's not something you do every day, which is also true, but also because it's not mundane. It's not the flavor that you're used to every single day. It's okay to mix things up. And it's okay to allow those things, even the stuff that feels like pressure, allow those things to just float over you and realize that ultimately they're not going to affect your life. Things will work out. And when you can get to a place of trusting in yourself and in the universe, God, whatever it is that you do, just trust that I'm okay, that it's going to be okay. Because let's just pull back for just a second. I don't want to take anybody else away. I don't want to take anything away from anybody. I'm not saying your stresses aren't real. I'm not saying the pressures that you are feeling aren't real, because they are. I'm trying to give you a little bit of a different perspective. So put those down for just a second and take what I like to call a 50,000 foot view, so that you're literally hovering above the earth and above time itself. And you can realize that humans in all of the history of humanity have gotten along so fine without buying eggs, without this, without that, with far less than we have now, than you have now. Yeah, but okay, cool. I'm not taking it away. I'm just saying you're gonna be okay. We're okay. We always have been through all the highs and all the lows. You always have been through all the highs and the lows of your life. They might not have been fun, those lows, but you got through them and you're okay. And you were okay then. There is something to be said about finding contentment. Being content is one of the most amazing feelings in the world, and we never talk about it. We talk about being happy. We talk about feeling good. We've talked about being elated and in love and in da-da-da-da and all these amazing places to feel and to be. And we talk about being depressed, and we talked about being sad and angry and frustrated and stressed and all of those negative things. But if you can find a way to take a few deep breaths and just be, and sit in your room and look at your bookshelves, at the books that you love reading or can't wait to read. You look at all the little tchotchkes, if you have them, or the lack of tchotchkes, because I know minimalists love the fact that they don't have tchotchkes, and appreciate what you have. Your family might not be perfect, likely aren't, because neither are you. Your apartment, your house, your car, as banged up as it is, it gets you to work. And if you can find a place of, I'm actually okay, and find that contentment, all of a sudden when you say, wow, I'm satisfied. I want more, but in this moment, I'm content. Now all of a sudden you're like, wow, I'm content. And what happens? You start smiling and you're like excited about the fact that, wow, I'm okay. Now you can use adjectives like happy and I feel good. And is it everything you want? No, but that's okay too. Is it sometimes bad? Yeah. I hate having to take care of my dad every day. He's sick. I hate seeing him sick. I hate seeing him in pain. That's all crap. But he's still here. I still get to see him. I still get to this. You can find contentment. You can find a neutral place of just being. And excuse my language, but when you can do that, all of the other bullshit just falls away. It just does. And you can move from there. And that's what I mean when I talk about finding a neutral space, taking those breaths to just be. And all of a sudden, I'm okay. I'm okay. And okay is a great place to be.
And it's your okay. It's not somebody else's okay.
1,000%. Very well said, Donna. Yes. Don't get into comparative, because if you're comparing yourself to the people in the world around you, woo, you're going to go right back into that downward spiral of lack, of not being or having enough. And you do. You are okay.
You know, sometimes it's just the simplest places. We have a nice house, and I love this house. I mean, it's spacious. It's everything. Of course, we've done a lot of repairs to it, but it's our repairs, and it's a lot of people may not like it, but I'm artsy. So, I mean, it may have some things to it that other people don't like. But I'll have to tell you, the happiest place is in the garden and in the chicken house. When you say a chicken house, all of my corporate friends I had back a long time ago, if they're watching this, they're like, you like being in a chicken house? It's a small one. It's like a little hut. And it's kind of cool. All the chickens are very happy. They lay their eggs. They are, they'll come to you like a dog would come to you. And it's just a happy place. You need to find your happy place, whatever it is. It's got to be your happy place, not mine.
Absolutely.
It can't be your brothers or your dads or your siblings. It can't be your husband's. It's got to be your happy place.
Right. And that can be the corner of the couch. It can be the shower. If you have a house full of people and clutter and things that you need to do, it can be the car. It can be walking around the corner and sitting on the curb. It can be sitting against a tree somewhere. It can be the far right stall in the office bathroom. Like, it can be wherever and whatever it needs to be, where you can go to just be and to find your happy place, because everybody's situations are different. And so if you don't have a hen house, or you don't have a New York apartment, or a park a mile away, or whatever it is, you have your own, and you can find it. And if that means that you need to close your door so that you sit up on your bed and just breathe, or take 5 minutes to read, or start writing in a journal, we can talk about that too. That's incredibly stress relieving. When you are in a space of not knowing what to do next, write. And I can tell you why. It's scientifically proven why that works. Find a place that is just yours, that is different from Donna's, that is different from mine, and allow yourself to be. And it feels selfish if you have kids, even if you don't have kids, but you have the pressures of your life, whatever those pressures are. It feels selfish to take 3 minutes away from those things to focus on yourself. But I want to remind you of something. All those pressures, whether it's people pressures, needing something from you, or work, or whatever it is that's causing you those pressures, whose life is this? It's your life. And you taking 3 to 5 minutes for you is hardly selfish. What would be selfish is those people around you, or those pressures around you, telling you that you're being selfish. They're requiring something of you, time and energy away from your life. This is your life, which means you are in control, which means those pressures can wait 5 minutes for you to get centered. Because I promise you, when you do that, there is more of you to give to those people.
Mm-hmm. And
I know that when I used to say this to some of the mothers who I was coaching, if you had your family, let's say that your family are your pressure right now. You got 3 kids and a husband, and all they do is want, and you have to show up for them. One of them's sick, one of them's not, one of them has to get to soccer, whatever it is. Imagine all those things and them sitting at a table, and you're pouring each of them a glass of tea or milk or whatever from a pitcher or from a kettle. Eventually, the milk, the water, the tea, whatever it is that is in that pot or pitcher or kettle is going to run out. And there's not going to be any left. Mm-hmm. You got to refill the pitcher. And that means that you are pouring yourself into all of those people. And at some point, you got to refill the pitcher. You've got to refill yourself. And believe it or not, 3 to 5 minutes a day of just sitting in your place and breathing will do that for you. Mm-hmm. Will absolutely do. Stopping and slowing down, getting clarity and a clear vision of what has to happen. That's still talking about them, even though it is starting here. Mm-hmm. What do you need to do first? And maybe that is go take a bath. And you're like, I don't have time for a bath. And your body goes, please just go take a bath. And the next thing you know, somebody calls and says, you know what, I'm going to be late. And you're like, good, me too. Have you ever had that happen where you're like running late and you're like, oh my God, I got to call them. I'm running late, but I got to keep doing what I'm doing. So I'm going to finish this and then I'll call them. And then they call you and say, hey, can we do 2:30 instead of 2:00? And you're like, oh my gosh. That's what I mean about trusting yourself and trusting that something's going to happen.
That's absolutely true. We're going to have to call it a day. I was just going to say this. If I'm in New York, my happy place, you know where it would be. It would be in Central Park. It would be, the bridge.
Oh, I thought you were going to say my apartment.
But one of the bridges with a tree close by. I got to have a tree. You know that. So anyway, I just sat under it and read a book. I could be happy there. I could be happy anywhere. I absolutely could. You just got to find out what works for you. And Julia, you are a breath of fresh air. And I do mean it the way it sounds. Thank you again so much for being with us. And how can folks find out more information about you and your podcast?
Go to the podcast at any podcast listening place, which is Life After Breath. It is a daily podcast. You don't have to listen every day, but it's about 5 to 7 minutes every single day of just like a little bit of this kind of advice and some breathing and, some things you may need to hear, and then just take those few minutes to breathe for yourself and have a great day.
And it's a lifesaver. I will say that. Thank you again, guys, so much for watching. Hope you have a super awesome rest of the day and you take care. We'll see you next time.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer
Yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.